Hello, hello. Good day. I want to thank you for joining me. If you join live, put hashtag live. If you catch the replay, put hashtag replay. And I'm going to be sharing a lot today, so stick with me in a short period of time. But today, for Getting Unstuck, number 3 for this month. We've done 2 like last week and the week before. I'm doing a series, and next week will be number 4 and the last one. So today, about getting unstuck, it's going to be all about self-love. All about self-love, okay? So, which some of us need to be a little more empathetic with ourselves, have a little more belief in ourselves. So, belief in yourself, it comes from doing hard things. Oh, yes, I'm Shelley. Yes. And I am your wellness mentor for mind, body, and soul. So I like to bring you value. And you see those signs behind me? Never give up. Be happy. Never give up is a good one, but it's okay to take a break. So we're talking about getting unstuck and embracing self-love. How does this play a part in this? Huge part. So when people are not doing enough for you, or you feel you're not doing enough for yourself, you need to think about how quick we are. We are hardwired to be judgy. Right? To be judgy, especially the hardest person that we judge is ourselves, is judging ourselves. And, we are quick sometimes to judge other people. I feel if there was more empathy in the world, it would be a much better place. But we create our world, right? I have a small circle. I keep it small because a lot of us are all like-minded. And it's nice to be in that energy all the time. So to start this off, you need to turn to your body. When you need self-love, you need to turn to your body. You need to turn to your mind and to your heart. You need to fill your heart, okay? So I want you to start this off, and I'm going to give you a list of some of the things I put on here, and some of it you may not even know about me. But let's start with the hard stuff, okay? Let's think about all the hard things you've done, okay? Let's think about all the hard things you've done. And I want you to get a pen and paper, and I want you to write this down. And if you have to come back and watch this replay, awesome, okay? If you just want to listen right now, that's okay. But I want you to think of all the hard things you've done. Now, I've written down to share with you. So before I came on here, I wrote these down. So I became single at 36, okay? We had a son. We have a son. He's going to be 31 this year, but he was 12. He was 12. And I had been thinking, and very scared. I had been thinking for a couple of years that I wanted to leave the relationship. But I was so wired and had in my mind convinced myself that my son was not going to come. And this is from when he was born. Over the years, he was not going to come from a broken home, right? I didn't want to be a statistic. I did not. It was never in my plan to become a single mom, right? Not in my plan. And it's not a bad thing, but I'm just saying, I'm talking about me, where my mindset was. And I lived for several years watching alcohol abuse, drug abuse. I was abused in different ways. I thought I was protecting my son from all this, but I wasn't. Looking back, it's always looking back. Hindsight's a wonderful thing, right? But anyhow, For the record, he was not. It was just me. It was spousal. So I, for a couple of years, thought about this, but I actually did it. I put it into fruition. I actually went out and I did. I put the steps in place, and 36, single mom with a 12-year-old. I'm telling you, it was hard. I was scared, even though I was a woman, scared little girl in me, scared little girl. And I bought a house. I bought my first house, and on my own, and scary because now I'm going to have a mortgage on my own. I have to pay all the bills, single income. Things were changing, and I was scared, but I did it. And someone said to me way back then, I believe it was another mom on Rory's hockey team. Someone said to me back then, stop worrying. Stop being a worrier. You are a warrior. And that stuck with me. Because we just naturally worry about everything and anything. And even things that I used to worry about, things that never even had happened yet. But because I was worrying about them so much, I manifested it. And she said to me, stop worrying. You are not a worrier, Shelley. You are a warrior. And I'm telling you, in my community, my people, that's what you are. You are warriors, all right? You have done hard things. So another thing that I did in my early 40s and for like 7 years, a lot of people don't know this about me, but I fought first stages of cervical cancer. While I'm doing that and going to the women's health clinic, I'm working full-time as a law clerk. I'm sticking with my career. I'm not giving up. I'm keeping the home. By that time, Rory and I were in our second home, my second home on my own, where I am now, and I love it. I just love it. I've been here for 14 years. I love my home. And, I maintained it. You can't just buy a home and sit in it, right? Like, there is maintenance. There's a lot of work to doing that. And I did it. I started businesses. There was at one time that I had 2 businesses. Usually I do have 2 businesses, interesting enough. And I have this mindset that we have always been in a world where we need more than one stream of income, especially for me. I always said, and if you know me and you're really close to me and you're in my small circle, I always said, I need to generate that second income that I don't have in my home, These were all hard things. And there may be women out there said, oh, I did that, Shelley. It wasn't that hard. Awesome. I'm really happy for you. And I mean that sincerely. But for me and where I came from, this was hard. Women did not live on their own in my family. I had older women that I looked up to in my family that were living in unhappy marriages, unhappy homes. And I just thought that's what you did. You put up, you shut up and you put up, right? But for some reason, a switch went off in me and I thought, I can't do this anymore. I don't want my son to think that this is what love is, right? It is so much what I did not want. So it took strength. I had to be strong. And I don't know where I got it. I dug down deep because I never saw myself as that strong. I never, ever did. So, I don't know if you know this, but 12 years ago in this house, we had a house fire. This is my list of hard things, okay? I'm thinking, oh my God, I've had it. Okay, I've had enough, God. I've had enough, universe. Okay, you have tested me enough. A relationship ended, second mom. I had a second relationship that ended. How I ended up in second home on my own because we sold our homes and moved in. And then the cervical cancer. And then, oh my God, then a little critter in my attic chews my wire. Okay. It's like boom, boom, boom. Every couple years, boom, 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 right? And it was, I was like, I hit a wall. I had enough. I had enough. What I had to do, and I didn't realize I was doing at the time, and my mind told me, you need to look after Shelley. You need to look after Shelley. So they put us in a hotel, and I had to leave my home for 8 weeks. And they put us up in a hotel. My insurance, thank God, the insurance was amazing. I had heard horror stories, not mine. My insurance was my rock then, and so grateful. But I go to work, come home in the hotel. I've had time to make time for me. I quietened the businesses down for a bit. My network marketing business, I told my, my business partners, I was cool in it. And I was running a spa business then, home spa parties. And I actually was open to receive, and I reached out to some of my girls on my team and said, you need to do these spas. I need to take this time for me. I needed it, but I didn't realize that's what I was doing. I just said, I'm going through a mini breakdown here, and I just don't want to people. I have to go to work, come back to the hotel. And I did. And you know what I did? I would have a hot bath. I would read. I really got into me, and I had me time. And I started to discover, this is when I started to discover, why am I not doing this all the time? Why am I not making a routine of this? Why am I not making time for me? Here I was in the worst. This was the worst out of it all, even worse than the cancer. This stressed me out more, right? The fact to be homeless with a child. Oh my God. It was, I don't know why, but it was harder. It was harder. And I think with the cancer, the first stages, I knew we were going to beat it. I had to go through treatments. I was very fortunate than other women that have dealt with it. So yeah, so this was the worst for me. So yeah, anyhow, it was not the plan. Being a single mom was not a plan. And then all these things that followed afterwards that followed me and I felt like I'm being tested. I'm being tested. But the universe, it wasn't a test. It was lessons. It was lessons, and it was building my character. It was building my mind. It was building my strength. It was building my resolve, right? I was not a worrier. I was a warrior, and I had to keep telling myself that. So you make a list of all these hard things, and there's some of my hard things, right? And some of your hard things may be trying to lose that weight, is trying to motivate yourself to do, to work out. Might be trying to put yourself out there to get into another relationship. I struggle with this. That's why I've been single for so long. I struggle with this, and I'm still working on it. So belief in yourself comes from doing hard things. And I now have a belief that there's not too much I can't deal with. I don't want to. God, no, I don't want to. But I do know and believe in myself. There's pretty much not too much out there that could take me down. Sidebar, another hard thing I dealt with, which a lot of even my close circle didn't know, was, never mind last year. You heard me talking about last year and my business and that, but was when I lost my dad in 2015. That was after the house fire. I really sunk into the back of my couch and started Netflixing, and it was such a huge void. I ended up in grief counseling. Do never be ashamed to ask for help. I ended up in grief counseling for 3 months. And it was one of the best decisions I ever made for myself. Another form of self-love. I'm not talking self-care and doing your skincare and looking after your hair. I'm talking about feeding your brain and filling your heart. Okay? I'm talking self-love is like your body. Okay? It's all about your body, your mind and your heart and your soul. Okay? So this is, these are some of the hard things. So make your list. Make your list, okay? And then you look at this and go, okay, I may be stuck in my business right now. I may be stuck in this relationship. I may be stuck working towards my goals in my career, in my job. But look at all the things that I've overcome. I'm telling you, I call it a win journal. You don't have to keep a win journal, but this is a good exercise to do. I like my win journal. This is what I just jotted these down quickly. I could have grabbed my win journal and I could be here all day of the little things and big things that I celebrate about me. Okay? So this is what I did to develop a stronger mind. So next I want you to list, after you've listed the hard things, I want you to list the things, the person that you became from this. Some of the characteristics, okay? All right, some of your characteristics. I have a stronger mind. I'm kinder. I'm more empathetic to people. I see someone on the street and maybe they're walking to the car and they're cursing and swearing, or maybe there's a couple having an argument publicly and they're just saying a few words. The old me used to think you need to take that private. You need to do it. Now I think, what the first thing I thought in my head with every one of those situations is what is going on and what happened today? What is going on in their lives that they're acting like that? I actually feel bad for them and want to help. Now, I don't approach strangers all the time, but, here's a situation where last summer I was shopping and I came out of the grocery store, and with the economy and the way things are, I hadn't had any income for months, but I had a good savings. So I was okay. But I watched this couple and they had 3 kids and they were getting the kids in the car and they had some groceries. I actually had more groceries in my cart for me than they had for the 5 of them. And the wife or the partner, the female person, adult, we made eye contact. When you're walking and sometimes you just make eye contact. Well, there's a little one tugging on her, crying, "I don't want to sleep in the car again tonight." Trying to tell this story without tearing up. And I stopped and I got goosebumps. And I turned my cart and I walked towards them. And they had the hatchback up on their minivan. I started unloading my groceries and putting it in the back of the car. This was just me in auto drive. And the gentleman said, "Ma'am, you don't have to do that." And I said, "Listen, I know what hard times are. I know what hard times are. And you need this more than me." So they both looked at me and teared up, and I still tear up telling this story. And I said, if I had extra money, I would give it to you. I'm going through a hard time right now myself, but you need this more than me. And I went in and got more groceries for myself and I loaded them up. She gave me a hug. A complete stranger gave me a hug. I didn't want anything. I didn't need anything. I just paid it forward. And I said, "Universe, please look after that family." So there are other people having hard times out there. Try not to be quick to judge, right? I walked away feeling good that I paid it forward, right? Self-love. Self-love is also finding the strength to not judge and not assume and to do something kind. I'm telling you, kind, right? So when you sit down and explain or write out your list of characteristics that you have changed from this, a better understanding of life and my journey, right? I became kinder, more empathetic. I became stronger minded, less judgmental. I have trained my brain. I've rewired my brain to ask different questions, not be quick to judge, be quick to help. Okay. So your identity changes. You take off layers. As you go through hard things, you take off layers, and self-love. Self-love helps change, and you're always evolving your identity. Here's an analogy. You have your favorite sweater that you like, right? And you've had it for years and it keeps you warm, but over the years it's getting holes, it's starting to fray. It's not serving its purpose anymore, right? It's just like your old identity. You have to let it go. You have to let it go. What you're doing is not working, so you need to change it. Or what you're going through is you can't approach it the way you've approached previous things. You got to find new strengths, new ways, new thoughts, new mindset. Okay? So you may keep a win journal. If you haven't, I'm telling you, keep a win journal for like 6 months, and any small wins, anything counts, right? So we are wired to self-hate. We are wired to hate and judge before we are. But I'm telling you, when your mind gets like, when you're hungry and need to eat, your body tells you you're hungry. Okay. So here's a different perspective for you. So when you self-hate in your mind and you're having thoughts about that, do you know what that is? That's your mind telling you need to fill your heart. Your heart needs fed. Your soul needs fed. Self-hate means you need to fill your heart with self-love. It's like when your tummy grumbles and you're hungry, you need to fill your body with food. Food is fuel. Self-love is fuel for your heart. You need to remember that. Self-love, right? The mind's saying the heart needs self-love. When you self-hate, or when you're out there and you're judging people, stop and think. My heart needs some self-love, right? You need to be conscious of this, intentional. You need to be conscious and intentional, okay? So make a list of all the hard things you've done. And then make a list of the characteristics that you once didn't have, or you've always had them, but now you practice them, right? It's who you've become. It's who you are. So I hope this was helpful. I would love your feedback on this. And if you would like to get on my email list, I know I was sending these out weekly, people. I've decided that I'm going to start doing a series every month, which I have. The last 3 weeks, we've been talking about different elements of getting unstuck. Okay. And I'm going to send it out at the end of the month. And there's going to be some sheets in that if you want, and worksheets. And you're going to be able to watch these and go through this. And then it's something you can save. And then you can come back and visit at any time. And it's all free value. It's all free value because I love you. So if you want to get on my email list, put email in the comments and I'll message you. Thanks. Have a great day.